Welcome to Second Beat. Today's special guests are Unit DT-127, Barry Bifus, and Catherial, also known as Saki, from the musical group Option Y, and also the duo Kit and Muskie. They are from Rhode Island in the USA and perform in Second Life. Welcome to you all.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
And first, tell me, how did you all meet?
Okay, well,
Wow.
yeah, DT and myself have a history together. We've worked in First Life bands together for many years, and Catherial and I have known each other back since the 80s. So we all have known each other, long, rich history together.
And do you ever perform in real life or First Life venues?
Well, Muskie and I perform with First Life with Music 5, and we do lots of classic rock covers and progressive music and pop.
And we're hoping
Yeah.
to bring, but now we're going to bring Catherial and Muskie into First Life as an act on their own, and we're going to start performing as that duo, and hopefully with intentions of performing as our characters and doing some Comic-Cons and just that kind of getting involved with the cosplay community.
That ought to be a lot of fun. And and how did you come up with the name Option Y?
It goes back to the origins, the beginning. It wasn't meant to be the letter Y. It was meant to be just a symbol, which was part of the band's kind of backstory. Initially, the band was created as this fictional robot band that was supposed to have existed 1 million years in the future from now, but are able to kind of time paradox their way back to perform for us at this time now.
Or anytime.
Or anytime.
Yeah.
That was kind of the initial idea behind it. It evolved into more things and basically became to what it is now, which is really just kind of a more of a experimental art group that really had, we always reinvent and really has no set look or theme to it. It's really ever changing. The intention was every album will be something different and always something new.
And that the
And it has been.
Yeah, and the players could change.
Right.
As artists are available to work, so it's always a collective of ideas.
Right.
And voices and art.
Sort of like Grateful Dead, I guess, in a sense. Right? Where they always...
A little bit.
Yeah, if the Grateful Dead, had members who were, like 2,000 miles away and would just drop in and out every once in a while.
Is that true for you all? Are you that far apart?
That is true. I do not live in Rhode Island anymore.
Oh.
I used to. So I live in North Dakota. So I come in maybe once a year or so, and we'll do a recording session or or an overdub session, and we'll get things done. However, now I'm going to be purchasing more equipment so that if we have identical equipment and software, we can try to attempt to create what we do in the studio. But it's hard because what we do in the studio is a lot more like an Ornette Coleman free late John Coltrane free jazz type thing that has very little structure, but it's happening immediately, and that's been our recording setup for a while, and so we're
I mean, a
hesitant
lot of
to
times what we'll do is
change.
we'll use dual streams when we do our shows in Option Y, so we can all perform at the same time. We can be there together rather than even though we're apart. When we do our creating and coming up with music, he comes by, like you were saying, and we create in the studio. But when we do shows, he's dual streaming from his location on the other side of the country.
Right.
And so, are you hearing each other in real time when you dual stream, or is there a delay?
It's basically real time. I mean, there's a little bit of lag, but you know, we do what we can, work around it.
We hear each other in a voice call. We will send the signal through the voice call, and that's how I can connect and do things live with them. I may not be listening live, but it would just be like any other live performer who's not listening live, and there's that 20-second SL lag that every SL performer is well familiar with.
You still have to make it sync together, though, which you do flawlessly. So that's really wonderful. Why did you join Second Life, and how long have you been performing in Second Life?
We've been aware of it for a long time, actually, and only recently, in the last few years, we've decided to really focus and use it as basically a means to create music and perform for people in a global audience.
You know, just from my perspective, my first time that I saw Second Life, we didn't know that there was a music community right off the bat. So it was a revelation to us, that when we found this out and we met some really good folks, good people, that enlightened us to the ability to play all over the place and to play for people, all around the world. It's exciting.
It is.
It is exciting, very much so. I have described the music of Option Y as alternative, indie, psychedelic, and ambient, with lyrics presented in an art form rich and dripping with effects. Would you say that is accurate? And also, how would you describe your music? Does it have its own category?
I've always shied away from any kind of genre-defining title or category. I know it's a smart thing because then people know how to find you, but I just don't like that. I personally have a wide appetite for different styles of music, whether it's jazz or funk or rock or whatever. So I personally like to use different styles in song composition as almost like ingredients in cooking. So it's really, I hate to say like, yeah, we're a pizza band. We just do pizza. No, we're like Grand Buffet. We're like all over the place. You don't know what you are going to hear, what style is coming up next.
Absolutely.
I don't believe in
true.
categories in life, and I don't believe in categories in music.
Wow.
Right.
I'm going to say some of your music I feel is overtly political, like in your song Dizzyland from your new album Rhetoric Circus. Will you talk about your motivation for making the song and your ultimate intention for it?
All right, I'll step right in to say, in defense of our previous singer, as I mentioned earlier, we tend to have a revolving door of members, during that period, we had a different person who was the singer. His name was Stubby Jack.
Oh.
And at that time, it was right prior to the election.
Right, it was before the election.
There was no way that it couldn't have been addressed, even if we weren't trying. It happened just kind of innately.
Yeah, and as with all things that were involved with Stubby Jack, I always used to have to make my disclaimer at shows that goes something like, the opinions and viewpoints expressed by Stubby Jack do not reflect those of Option Y or any of our members. Because he was the kind of character that you never knew what was going to come out of his mouth.
Oh.
Which is part of the excitement.
Right.
And,
Right. I mean, that was part of the fun because it was like you never knew what was going to happen. But at the same time, sometimes you're just cringing. but it's all for art. It's all for the sake of art.
Yes.
But I have but now DT is a different style, and I also do some of the vocals as well. And Saki is starting to step up and do more of the vocals also. So we're currently working on our next album, our next release. Hopefully, it's going to be out soon, very soon. It's close. We're very close.
Fabulous. And will the song Willing Alien be on that album, or is it already on the previous album?
Yes, I'm pretty almost 100% certain that Willing Alien will definitely make it to this one.
I think that song has a great reachability. It's accessible to a great majority of your fan members, of the audience goers.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So the question I have framed next is, and this might go back to Stubby Jack, but I'm going to throw it out there anyway. Do you believe that aliens are among us? Are any of you aliens, as you have a few songs about aliens, including Alien Porno and Willing Alien?
It's an interesting idea.
Yeah, I mean, I like to think. I don't know. I still think that the general idea about aliens, I think what people tend to overlook about that whole topic is the fact that we are the aliens, the human beings inhabiting this planet. We're the aliens. I think strongly also that the history of all aliens, that everything we've seen and know about or think about aliens, all is derived from the human psyche. That's my personal feelings. I mean, again, maybe I should put up a disclaimer here, but I believe in life across. I believe the universe is teeming with life, but is it like we would think it is, that would come and do experiments and butt probes on us? I think that's highly unlikely.
Okay.
But that song, I can tell you was, kind of just meant as a little, pastiche of kind of walking around. I was walking down the street one day, and maybe there's a place and time where the alien will come up to you, and
Who is
could
that
be.
alien? Who is that alien?
Well, that's the thing about the lyrics. You know what I mean? We try to leave a lot of holes in the lyrics so that you complete them, and your story might be more romantic or more terrifying or more fantasy fantastic than what we come up with. But that's the beauty of it, because you're almost collaborating with us by filling the holes that we leave for you.
And that has happened during live performances where music was actually being created during the show. And people would say things in Second Life, and it would affect lyrics and the tone of the music, which to me is the best part of this collaboration of music in Second Life. They can't say anything, but they're talking to you in the voice chat, and they're hearing what you're doing, and like DT says, they are putting their own spin on what they're saying, and that could shift us dramatically.
That's right. I mean, music, art in general, so much of it's left to be interpreted.
I mean, the perfect example of that is Metaphonics.
Right. Even Alien Porno. I mean, that came about just, Stubby saw something, some weird thing, and it was an alien, and it just inspired him to go into this whole alien sex thing. So,
in the past, people have come and done particle effects for us, and as bringing their part to the show.
right,
And that has affected, Alien Porno.
sure.
Begat that.
Sure, you never know what's going to influence a song or influence a moment.
Okay.
Never know.
All right. I think you answered one of my later questions. I'll just say it now anyway. I find your music to be highly thought-provoking. Would you say that there is an intention to stir a greater awareness among your listeners or are you using the music as a release of ideology and belief as well as artistic expression? But I think you just kind of covered that, unless you want to expand on that anymore.
Yeah, I would say it's everything. Yeah, I mean, it's all of the above, right? As Kit says, it's everything.
Everything. So you are
There,
Yeah,
it's intentionally provocative. You want people to think. You want people to react. But it's also art, and it's also throwing your ideas and beliefs out there at the same time.
right.
there,
And I will
I
say,
agree with that.
and I'll say this too. Our intention is solely for the creation. It's not. We're unapologetically experimental. We're not trying to do something that's going to be commercial or trying to do something somebody somewhere is going to like.
Yeah.
It is what it is. It's our process. It's our stream of consciousness. Filtered into virtual worlds.
I also wouldn't call us agent provocateurs, but at the same time, there may be things that are on our minds that we want to provoke thought about,
Yeah.
uh, like the denial of science,
Uh-huh.
uh, or just the condition of giving up power, giving up your own power in a political sense. Um, that just might happen. That may be what's on my mind at any given time, and that's what comes out.
It seems like no
Like,
subject is out of bounds for music lyrics, including a song about getting high and a song called Mushrooms and discussing the effects of mushrooms. Would you like to talk more about that?
hmm. What do you think, DT? You had inspiration for high, so
Yeah, well,
I'll leave
I I was high.
What's the
That's pretty much the end of that conversation.
celebration of being in that state?
There's it's part of my life, and so I
No,
decided
no,
to
it's
sing about it.
a metaphor.
It worked out.
But
It
it is a
worked out
metaphor
well.
at the same time. It's also a metaphor.
It's a metaphor. It's being high on life. It's being above things. It's being, gosh, I don't know. We could come up with a whole bunch of things.
We like the earth's
Yeah.
plants. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I want to say, that the lyrics are advocating for the use of mushrooms as medicinal, as something that helps you connect spiritually to the trees, to be able to have like ESP with animals and even other people, to not want to drink alcohol or binge eat, and to have a greater mental freedom and spiritual freedom. Um, so I let's talk about that. Let's put it all right out there, like you did in the song. And would you
I
say that you're
I would
advocates? Yeah.
I I don't that's a pretty touchy subject. I wouldn't say I advocate for any. I'm talking about me. I'm talking about my experience or the experience of somebody who may, who I might be talking about at that time. Putting myself in another person's body and, becoming that person, because they're having the experience. But at the same time, you described, the probably, the best uses for mushrooms that have articulated, and I would totally support that. I believe it does. I like mushrooms a lot myself. I can't say I do them a lot, but yeah, connectivity with the universe and other people and my surroundings. That happens. I just like I said, it was that simple. Um, Again, I think you need to come back to the way we create music. Like I was saying before, it's a very Ornette Coleman free jazz type thing where things come out. and believe it or not, for 9 times out of 10, we will stay very faithful to the first or second version of anything that we've ever played. So
Change too much.
if I be maybe make a statement, but I'll be honest with you, when I'm singing, I don't think I'm making a statement for history or perpetuity or even political analysis. I'm singing a lyric about what's now and what I'm feeling at that moment, and to slice and dice and microanalyze, any one of those given moments, is almost missing the point. And maybe this just needs to be lyric free. It's just no singer, because because
Welcome the
I
slicing
no,
and
I don't want to
dicing.
get misconstrued as an advocate. I was at that moment, I was talking about my own experience. If other people have had those experiences and can understand where I'm coming from, yay. If not, I hope I describe it well, and that's it.
Well, fair enough. And thank you for talking about that. I deeply appreciate and enjoy the lyrics. Um, for um, for many people, I think lyrics help us to feel more connected to music, where otherwise, especially maybe music that's more experimental, we might have a disconnect and not be able to relate. So the lyrics, for me are artsy and and definitely help me to buy in, so to speak, or be led into the flow of your consciousness on a musical level.
That's what we're trying to do, is to connect the consciousnesses of everybody, and whether we're doing it visually or whether we're doing it sonically or or any way, that's our goal in the performance. In the creation, it's about satisfying ourselves, but in the performance, we want to satisfy others, and we hope that our music in some way connects with them. We hope that our show connects with them. We hope our show connects with our music too.
Wonderful, absolutely. Um, so also we have the group Catherial and Muskie, um, which is the Avatar kit on the far right, and Barry in the middle. But only you come out as a cat, a cool cat named Muskie, and you guys do really soulful 70s and 80s and some contemporary cover songs, but all with live performing live performance of instruments, no tracks. Is that correct?
Well, what I'll do is typically, I record all these parts, all separate tracks, because how it started was I put all the drum tracks down. So I play all the instruments. So I would put like all these drum tracks down, and then I would use them with like other bands, and then we started using them. So then I'm like, hey, let's use these. So I added some bass tracks, because Kit and Muskie shows are just Kit and I, me and her, and she's singing, and I'm playing my guitar, and I'm running backing tracks that most of which I created. There's sometimes we want to just mix it up and do something weird, so I'll like maybe pull a karaoke track or something.
And that you've seen in the TV.
Yeah, some of those were karaoke. Some of them were ones that I created. We'd like it to be everything I create.
And eventually it will be. It's just a matter of wanting to have just a variety to the shows at this point. But yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I spent a lot of time making all these songs and creating these tracks, and I put a lot of energy into details and getting everything as accurate as I can. So it takes time to build a show that big. So as far as build a library of all your own tracks, we do have quite a few, and we're still working on making more. So. But everything else is us singing. I'm sorry.
You guys must have been at this for a long time now, for a lot of years. Would you say so?
I've been playing music. I started when I was 4.
Wow.
And I started playing my first recital when I was like 5. So I mean, I've been playing pretty much my whole life. I mean, for myself, it was like nothing really inspired me either. It wasn't like anything like I saw somebody and I wanted to do it. It was like I just had to do it. I don't know. And luckily, my parents were like did everything they could to foster that and to make it so that I could learn as many instruments. I went to they made it so I was able to go to Berkeley. I was able to go to music college. I learned production and engineering. So I mean, there's a lot of I've been devoting my life to that, and now I also teach. I work for a School of Rock franchise, and I teach all the different instruments. So yeah, it's a lifelong passion and just something that I just need to do. That's speaking for myself or
Pretty
kids.
much the
You
same
guys
story.
know.
Musically, mine is very different. Um, I've always been an artist and a dancer, but was always a little nervous about using my voice. And it was only within the last few years that I started to sing.
Oh my
And,
golly.
uh, Muskie taught me how to sing.
That's right.
He's my voice teacher, and it took a long time to feel confident because this is really, about confidence. You have to, really pull it up. And it was a frightening experience, but an exhilarating one. And I now sing, in First Life with musicians that are far superior to me, and I feel humbled and lucky to be in this situation. But I'm gonna work with it and move with it and just accept my accept my
Gotta do it.
my fortune.
Yeah, do it.
I have a lot of people around me like
That's supportive.
like Muskie and DT who are supportive and helpful to me, and I'm lucky.
So,
We love you too.
on that note, how would you say that performing in Second Life, and this goes to all of you, has affected your first lives?
Well, can I don't want to take too much time, but to say that it made it possible to have it in First Life because I started to sing in Second Life. You heard my voice. I was not standing in front of groups of people, even though virtually I was. I had a shield and a comfort zone that helped me grow, and so I could step into real life and do it. And I think it was just invaluable that I had this option. Here we are with options again.
That's right.
See why that word option is so important, to us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great answer. And I've been hearing similar things from other performers that I've been interviewing. That Second Life is a platform that not only gives them the freedom to do this because of, First Life constraints, but also it gives, just like you said, that kind of barrier so that they can overcome deep shyness. I'm surprised to hear from so many people that they, say that they are very shy, when in fact, when their stage persona is bigger than life,
Right?
That's where it can come out.
Yeah. It's a great way of utilizing virtual community for that. I mean, personally, myself, I think it's amazing that we can perform at one venue, and I'll go back and I'll look at the stream information and just to see like where listeners were, and at just any one given show, I've seen like England and United States and Belgium and Argentina and New Zealand. That's amazing. All in one place, hearing you at the same time. You could never do that in real life.
No, that is amazing. It's something I hadn't even really considered.
Yeah, that blows us away, every time it happens. And it happens a lot, but it is an amazing experience. For me, I find that um, seeing all the creativity in Second Life, you know, I think helps, Barry um, put together visuals for shows in Second Life he's like, okay, this is possible. Now let's do it. Let's do it, and just like
Figure out how to
whatever
do those
idea
things
it
that are
is,
possible.
whatever, like if he's got an idea, it's like, one, is it possible? And, in SL, almost anything is possible. So, um,
Find a
so
way.
I mean, where can you go play where suddenly a giant Tyrannosaurus Rex could just res in for maybe 10 seconds and then just res back out, and you think, oh my God, what was that? It was just a T-Rex at our show. That's amazing. Or somebody with wings, or a mermaid.
and then the
in a
second time it
cage.
doesn't hit you anymore. It's like, oh yeah, it's the
Yeah.
T-Rex.
I was like, oh God, that thing's gonna lag the hell out of this sim. Oh no.
But still exciting because there it is. No T-Rex is coming to our real shows, and like a mermaid isn't going to show up at one of the bar and grills that we
Not
play
yet.
at.
Not
But
yet.
Yeah.
So it's so entertaining when it happens, and it just lifts you up, and it gives you a little extra, excitement.
It's true.
It's beautiful.
It's awesome.
And that's something I didn't really talk about with you yet, is the fact that you do use multimedia platforms for the presentation of your art form. You use film, you use maybe sharks swimming around, particles, light shows. I mean, you pull out your entire gig bag when you put on a show. And tell me, why do you do this? Is it for everyone? I mean, why do you do it?
Well, let me just say, personally, I have always been attracted to theatrical, like, exciting performances. Like, ever since I was a kid, going, see Kiss or, any groups that had just these big kind of visual shows that made them, like Pink Floyd or any of these groups, and like the Residents performing in costumes. Who is that? We don't know. They're not telling us. They're a character, And to me, that's the greatest motivation, is just to create this show. And I've done this throughout my entire career. Every band that I've been in, I've pretty much driven members crazy with my insane ideas to, hey, let's do this visual thing, with whether it's like using props or having to load half the truck with props that aren't even musical gear, or
Barry and DT were in bands where they would actually bring out the wall.
Yeah, we did a Pink Floyd thing, and we had the podiums and the wall set, and oh my God,
Yeah, art should be involved.
It's got to be visual and audible. That's a symbiosis that I feel is just so important, together.
I paint, and Barry is an excellent artist and graphic designer and musician. So when I speak of him about this, I know he's always felt a pull between all the disciplines of art, but this allows him to put them all together into one cohesive place where he puts his visual graphic design up there, his vast music skills, his production skills. I mean, everything is in one package here, and it's possible.
And I can draw a fantastic stick figure.
And a beautiful one at that.
And so, Kit, do you have any art galleries, either in world or in real life? And do you, Barry?
You need a gallery in the world. You should put your
I
paintings.
should. We've talked about putting my real life paintings in a gallery in world, and I think that's something we can work on. And that's another part of the problem, is our time.
You need
we
more
have
time.
so many things that we need more time. If some way we could work on a way to stretch time, the same way that we have this visual capacity in Second Life, if we could make the time stretch out more, so we could work in it, that would be great. But yes, I have art on the walls here, and things that I've done with my hands that I'd like to put in Second Life.
I would love to see your art, absolutely. And I know that there are many people in Second Life that would love to see your art as well.
You wouldn't be surprised to hear that a lot of my art involves cats.
Oh,
Scott knows, he sees all the paintings.
Yes,
Yeah.
they're great.
in closing, what would you like to say about your Second Life experience with music so far, or what would you like to say to your fans?
Hmm. The idea we even have fans is weird. I'm
Yeah.
surprised anybody. I'm surprised anybody likes what we do because it is just so out there. You know, I mean, we're not really thinking about somebody liking it. Thinking about just doing it. That's the important thing, really. Creating your art, make your art, do it. If it's not right the first time, keep doing it. Do it again. You know, and that's the biggest message. Yeah, it's all about creating and doing it and making it happen and making it real. You
We're
know, whether or
glad
not
that
somebody
people
likes.
like. Yeah, but
Yeah, I mean, if
it's
they,
not the
they
point.
like it, they might not, but it doesn't matter. What's important is the doing is the important thing, and I, want to just keep doing as much as we can and always get better at it, and finding new ways to do things that maybe somebody hasn't seen before, and hopefully maybe be inspiring.
I think that's
That's my
I'm sorry, DT.
Oh no, no, no. I definitely second that. But the idea of fans is almost a foreign concept to us. In so far as that, we appreciate that people like what we do. Don't get me wrong, but again,
And
we
happy.
do it because it's in our soul and it's got to get out, and that's what we, so
And
how we.
the second life, it can go out there
yeah.
to all over the place and to different countries and people who we don't have physical contact with. They're not there to hear it, but now because of this, they can. And that's so exciting. If they can be a part of it too, just by speaking in the chat. They might say something that might trigger something that might just
Right.
open up a whole door down a different path. That whole point of having collective ideas. Very important.
It's true.
It's fantastic. I thank you all so very much for the contribution that you're making to Second Life through your music, through your art. I think it's really interesting and neat, and I appreciate everything that you're doing. And I know you have a lot of other fans that do also. Thank you so much for coming today to the Riverfront Porch for Second Beat for a really nice interview with Option Y and Kithriel and Muskie. And I wish you all the very best in your future endeavors.
Thanks
Thanks for having us, Apollo.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Do it again.